Today you needed your math book, so we're going to have an assignment in the book. Tomorrow you need to bring your book because we're going to correct it, right? Then we have a worksheet. Wednesday, remember, I am gone on Wednesday. Nolan, hold that thing still. I'm gone on Wednesday. I will have a video for you to take notes with me, and then you will do an online assignment over Mondays and Tuesdays combined. Then on Thursday, we're going to have exponent practice online. That's going to be last week's 1-2, 1-3, and then this week's 1-4 and 1-5 all together on a practice because you have a quiz on Friday. Now, I write online on here so that you're not caught off guard that we're going to take it on Alex, but taking it on Alex also scares me. I like the idea of practicing taking assessments on Alex, but people always think it should take them really fast. Like this shouldn't take you long. That 12-question quiz on Friday should take you at least a half hour, if not closer to the 40 minutes that you're with me. That's really, when you think about it, that's only 3 minutes a problem to double check that you actually know what you're doing. Okay, so just to think about that. Some of you are at that teeter point. Maybe your last test didn't go exactly how you wanted it to, or maybe it did and it helped boost your grade and you want to go from a C to a B minus. Like here's your a bigger chunk of points on your Friday's quiz. Okay. Next Friday, you are going to have the chapter 1B test. There's only 2 things that we haven't studied yet. So you'll have a test next Friday, which is an even larger chunk of points. Now, next Friday is the last day of the quarter, though, too. So you want to make sure to get that grade as high as you possibly can. Cool? All right. New rule today, page 32. New rule today. We are studying the power of a power, meaning our base and exponent has another exponent on it. 5 squared raised to the 3rd power. A power of a power. To find the power of a power, we are going to multiply the exponents. Like I kept saying last week, keep the base. And the rules are the same today. Keep the base. And you're going to multiply the exponents. Okay, so if we look at example 1 and 2, 8 to the 4th raised to the 3rd. We keep the base of 8 and we take 4 times 3. Our final answer is 8 to the 12th. K to the 7th raised to the 5th. We keep our base of K. 7 times 5 is 35. K to the 35th. So if we go to the bottom, A, B, C. A, what's my base? 2. What are my exponents?
5.
So I'm going to take 5 times 2. My final answer would be 2 to the 10th power. B, what's my base? W, what are my exponents? 4 and 6. And we're going to multiply 4 times 6 is 24. So my final answer is W to the 24th. And then everybody looks at C and they're like, oh! Exponent on exponent on exponent. You still just multiply. What's your base? 3. And then we're going to have 2 times 3 times 2. Now listen closely. 2 times 3 is, times 2 is, so we have 3 to the 12th. When you have a power to a power, we multiply. And then everybody goes, yeah, now you're going to make it even harder. You always do this. It's really easy and then it's super hard. A little bit. Okay? Just a little bit. Top of the next page, 33, is the power of a product. So now inside those parentheses is not just one base. But in this case, we have a coefficient of 6 as well as the base x and with the power of 2. The biggest thing is that outside exponent has to be shared to everything on the inside. It's easier to see down here. I hate these first 2 lines. This outside exponent of 5 gets shared with 3 as well as with a squared. So we have 3 to the 5th and we have a squared to the 5th. Now, because 3 is your coefficient, we're actually going to calculate on your calculator. So everybody grab your calculator. I want to double check you remember how to do this. This is that caret key thing. Remember that? 3, caret key, 5. Double check that you remember how to type this in your calculator. You should get 243. 3, caret key, 5. You should get 243. All right. Okay, so let's go all the way down to got it D. 8b to the 9th, all raised to the second power. So that second power is on the outside. Very first thing is that second power has to get shared. Do you have a question? Okay, then follow along with me. Okay, that 8 needs the second power, and b to the 9th needs the second power. Now, 8 is my coefficient. Remember, coefficient is the number in front of the variable, right? Our $15,000 bet. The number in front of our variable. So we're actually going to calculate this. So on your calculator, you're going to type 8 caret key 2. 8 raised to the second is what? 64. What is the base on our next piece? B. And what do I do to my exponents? 9 times 2, multiply. Very good. So my final answer is 64 b to the 18th power. Okay. E. What's my exponent that I need to share with everyone? 4. So we write 6 to the 4th, x to the 5th to the 4th, y to the 11th to the 4th. Now, 6 is a coefficient, meaning we're actually going to calculate this. 6 to the 4th is not 6 times 4. It is 6 times 6 times 6 times 6, or use your caret key, 6 raised to the 4th, which you get, Aiden? 1,296. Now, when you raise a power to a power, keep your base. What's your next base? And what are you going to do to your exponents? Multiply. What's your next base? And what are you going to do to your exponents? Multiply. So your final answer would be 1,296, x to the 20th, y to the 44th. What's scary about f? It's got a negative, so we got to be cautious with this, okay? The exponent on the outside that we're sharing with everyone is that 3. So we have negative 5 to the 3rd, w squared to the 3rd, z to the 8th to the 3rd. Now, remember, your calculator is not smart enough to figure out negatives and exponents. How do I figure out if negative 5 to the 3rd is positive or negative? Very good. If my exponent is even or odd. So, is my exponent even or odd? 3 is odd, so that tells you that your answer is going to be negative. Now, on your calculator, leave off the negative. Don't worry about it. 5 raised to the 3rd. Very good. But don't forget it's actually negative 125 because we have an odd exponent. We keep our base of, your calculator is not smart enough, I promise. It won't consistently get it right. Keep your base of w, 2 times 3. Keep your base of z, 8 times 3. So your final answer, negative 125, w to the 6th, z to the 24th. I promise you your calculator is not smart enough to always get your negative base correct. So make sure you know odd exponent, your answer is going to be negative. Even exponent is going to be positive. Flip to page 34. Guided practice right now, do 1 through 6, and then we're going to go over them. Guided practice, do 1 through 6 right now, and we're going to go over them.
this one.
Mhm.
Is that the answer? Or do I have to be more?
No, because 7 is your coefficient. I want you to actually figure out what 7 cubed is. So like you're at this step right here. Now I want you to calculate and give me your final. All right. Number 1, what's your base? 3. What are your exponents? And what do you do to them? Multiply 2 times 5 for a final answer of 3 to the 10th power. 2, what's your base? H, exponents. And what are you going to do to them? Final answer, h to the 24th. 3, what's your base? 2. Now this one you have multiple exponents, so you should have taken 3 times 2 times 3 to give you 2 to the 18th. 18th. Okay. 4, your outside power is 3. Question? We'll keep going. Outside power is 3. So I need 7 cubed w to the 7th cube. 7 is your coefficient, so on your calculator, you're going to use your caret key, keep your base of w, multiply your exponents. Your final answer is 343 w to the 21st. Question? No, if you don't want to show this step, that's totally fine. I just am doing it right now for notes so people know. Good question. Okay, 5, you're sharing a 4 outside power, so I have 5 to the 4th, g to the 8th to the 4th, k to the 12th to the 4th. Again, 5 caret key 4. Keep your base of g, multiply 8 times 4. Base of k, multiply 12 times 4. Final answer would be 625 g to the 32nd, k to the 48th. Nicely done. Here we have an outside power of 2 that we want to share. Be careful because you have a negative here. You have negative 6 squared, r to the 5th squared, s to the 9th squared. Now, you have to look and ask yourself, even or odd? Even. What's that tell you? It's a positive answer. Negative 6 squared. Really, we don't have to worry about the negative at this point. Then we have r 5 times 2, s 9 times 2. Your final answer? 36. R to the 10th, s to the 18th. Okay, I think the hardest thing about today, well, there's 2 pieces that people screw up. They want to take 5 times 4, but it's not 5 times 4, it's 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. So that's why I always say make sure you're using the caret key. But then also if that base is negative, to check whether your answer is negative or positive. Let's go to page 35. I'm going to do problem 13 with you, which is part of your homework, and will also help with you with another section of your homework. Problem 13. A shipping box is in the shape of a cube. What do you know about a cube? All sides are equal. All sides are equal. And each side measures 3 times c to the 6th times d squared inches. Express the volume of the cube as a monomial. How do you find the volume of a cube? Very good. Length times width times height. But what did you guys just tell me you know about the length, the width, and the height of a cube? They're all the same. So instead of doing length times width times height, what they do is they write Side cubed. That's an S, not a 5. Side cubed. Because if they're all the same, when you multiply the same thing times itself 3 times, we get S cubed. So in our problem, what is the length of one side? That's problem 14. What is the length of our side in 13? That's an S. And how did you know that, Rebecca? Right here, right in our directions. Each side measures 3c to the 6th d squared. Now that's one side. And what do we have to do to every side? We have to cube it. Cube it. Cube it. Okay, so walk me through. If I have that cubed, what's my next step? Aiden? What? Okay. Awesome. So that outside 3 has to get shared. This is an S, not a 5. It's an S. Side cube. 3 is your coefficient, so we actually want to take 3 raised to the 3rd, which is 27. And then I keep my base, and what do I do to my exponents? Multiply. So the volume of my cube is 27 c to the 18th d to the 6th. That's actually your answer to 13. I just didn't have enough space. Finding the volume is the side length cubed. The side length cubed. Questions before I turn you loose? Yes, sir. We are not. You are going to do, it's probably easiest to just put a big box around them. 1 through 12. 1 through 12. Flip all the way to 37. And you're going to do 25 through 30 and 33 through 34. 1 through 12, 25 through 30, and 33 through 34. If you get done and your elbow partner gets done, please compare answers. Please compare answers. If you disagree, let me help you settle the argument. The rest of the hour is